Well, good morning, my precious dollies. How are we today? I'm doing pretty good. Yesterday I told you guys I was going to my bestie's house. Hang out over there for a little while. I'm going to show y'all what she gave me. And then watch this. And then push the button again. Is that not gorgeous? Oh my God, I just love it. So yes, it's going to live on my vanity right there. Got me some Zero Cherry Dr. Pepper. Yay! My honey bunny bought them for me. There was only 32 liters. And, yeah. I think I'm on the third one now. I don't know. Anyway, let's get started, my beauties. So how is everybody doing? After I do this video, I'm going to get dressed and go get my honey bunny's birthday presents because his birthday's in July, you know. And he deserves every present in the world, in my opinion. But we're going to start out with this Holy Hydration Daily Moisturizer. But first, I want to do my Clinique. It's wrinkle correcting serum. And y'all know I need me some wrinkleless stuff. Take care of the wrinkles. Ooh, I'm just getting it all over the bottle, y'all. I'm using the wrong hand, but that's okay. I mean, because it doesn't matter, but I can't really feel with his hand if I'm getting it correctly or not, because of the spinal stenosis has made that nerve damage in there. And then I'm also going to use this Confidence in a Cream. It's a barrier boost from IT Cosmetics. So we're going to get us some, and there's a lot in the lid. And this is what I've just been using in the lid and putting it on. Because a little bit goes a long way, let me tell you. And y'all, this feels so good. This just feels good and talking. So yeah. So when I was little bitty, our dad was married, already had a daughter. He was married to somebody else, and already had a daughter with her. And my mother met a guy, which is my baby sister's daddy, which was willing to take on all his kids, you know. Well, no, he wasn't my baby sister's daddy. My baby sister had already been born. And it was just another guy that she met, and he was willing to take on all his kids, you know. 5 kids. And, Daddy didn't like that, so he took us from our mother and he took us from our mother and then took us to our grandmothers. He didn't even take care of us. He didn't have us with him and his wife. He just didn't want my mom to have a boyfriend. So, he took us to my grandmother's house. This is Elf Skin. This is a Holy Hydration Thirst Burst Drops. Y'all, I love this stuff. But anyway, so he took us to my grandma's house. My grandma only liked one of us. And that was my oldest sister, Wanda, because she looked like um, the first. We were not his first children. His first children were with some other lady, and he had 2 kids, Mary Louise and Tony. I met him once, but that was it, and that was when I was young. This is Holy Hydration Booster Drops. And so, he left us at my grandma's. And my grandma only liked one of us, which was my oldest sister, Wanda, because she looked like my father's oldest daughter, Mary Louise. So she was cruel to the rest of us. Just a bitch. I mean, on one of our other birthdays, like it would be my brother's birthday, or my birthday, or Crucie's birthday, or Aaron's, she would buy my oldest sister gifts, which I do not blame my oldest sister for this in any shape, way, or form, because she wasn't the one that doing it. But she would buy my oldest sister gifts and not us. But my oldest sister would always give us the gift. But anyway, my grandmother and grandfather weren't together anymore, but they always seen each other because of us, okay? And my granddad lived on, it was a lake, but it was called Fry Pan Lake, and it had a big old lake in it, and he would take us down there fishing, and he had farm animals and stuff, horses and pigs and chickens and cows, you name it, he had them. He even had a fish farm. And huge bumblebees, you know, for gardening, because he did do humongous gardens. And I'm using this Miss Laura, the Ultimate Color Your Life is Beauty, right here. And then here's the color story. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but y'all, it's going to be wild, because y'all know me. And so anyway, we couldn't see our mom, and we cried all the time because we wanted to be with our mother, but our father wouldn't let us, and he punished her for a long time just for living. But oh, these are beautiful colors. But we lived on that Fry Pan Lake and did fishing, and we liked it there a lot. I mean, we really did. We loved it because of all the animals and stuff. And our dad built us a wagon to be in a show for, it was like a, what am I trying to say? Like a, like a parade. And we were the top people that was in the parade, and he had given us all a horse. And my horse's name was Trixie. And she was the most gentle horse ever. And she just loved me. And I would say, Trix, and she'd come running, I mean, full speed, and just stop. And when she stopped, her legs kind of bent forward because she'd slide. And she was oh, I loved her so much. But anyway, we were all little bitty. And this place was huge. And it even had, behind us lived like a dump, like a junkyard dump for cars and stuff. And we always was terrified to go there, so we never went over there. But one night, we was all laying in bed, all us little bitty kids, and my grandmother believed in beds, okay? We couldn't get up on the bed by ourselves. Our granddad, every night when it was bedtime, which that was one of our rituals, which we loved, but he would throw us in the bed. And we bounce all over, and it was just fun, you know. But we kept trying to tell our granddad, and our grandmother that this little man was coming in, and he was trying to get up on the bed with us. And they didn't believe us. And this went on and on and on and on, and nobody would believe us. And then, so they called my father, and my father called my mother, and we went into a psychologist to talk about it. And he said, no two people can have the same dream. This is not a dream. These kids are seeing this. So Grandpa got really freaked out about that. And he was like, hell no, these are my grandbabies. I'm going to find out what's going on with this. So, he did. He found out. And it was, the circus was in town. It was a little bitty, you know, all kinds of stuff. But there was, little people in it. And the man was trying to get up on the bed to molest us. But anyway, that didn't happen. They got thrown out of town, but I used this on the outer corner, and then I used this one beside it, and then I went into this pink right here. Now we're going to go into orange. But yeah, that was kind of bizarre. And we thought it was, you know, they thought we were nuts, and it had nothing to do with us being nuts. Psychologist, no, that's not a dream. These children are seeing this. You need to find out what's going on. So anyway, yeah, that was a little bizarre, but we lived next door to these people. They had lived there for a long time, and my granddaddy lived there for a long time, and we made friends with them. But I remember we used to ride the bus, and we had to be on the damn bus stop at 5 o'clock in the morning. Y'all, that's horrible. 5 o'clock in the morning. But we made friends with the neighbor people, and then we would always cry for our mom, because, you know, we were little bitty, and she always had us when we were little bitty, and we were gone for like a couple of years. Well, it seemed like a couple of years. I don't know how long, but it was a long time. We didn't get to see our mom because he wouldn't let us. So, finally, Grandpa got sick of it, and her mama quit seeing that guy so she could have her children back. And if my father wouldn't have done what he did, nothing that happened to us would have happened to us. But also, I think that's what made us strong and could be outbeat, you know, the norm. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to this green shimmer right here, because y'all know me. Is it a shimmer? Oh yes. And I just want to put it right there on the edge of my eye. Maybe a little more. Because, you know, color. We love us some color. Look at that color. Kelly is crazy today. But that's okay. But anyway, okay, let's go on to another bit of the story. My grandpa hired this lady to come over and watch us while he took care of the farm, because we were most of the time just in his damn way. These 5 little bitty kids tagging along behind him when he's starting to get work done. But her name was Lita Mae. I remember Lita Mae. Lita Mae was an alcoholic too, just like my grandma. I remember one time my grandma used to take us to the bar with her, guys. while she drank, and we'd just be hanging out. And that bitch went to the bar every day. But we'd just be hanging out with her, doing our thing, drinking our Dr. Pepper, and we pour sunflower seeds in the Dr. Pepper, which was delicious. Anyway, our grandpa had hired a lady to watch us while he did his farm work. She was an alcoholic too. Damn, y'all. But she was an alcoholic too. And she could only remember one of our names out of all 5 of us, and she could only remember Teresa's name. That's the only person's name she could remember. So anytime we got in trouble for doing something stupid, it was Teresa that always got blamed for it. But Wanda told Granny she can't remember nobody's name. I did it. Because Wanda was that way. She knew our grandmother would beat our ass, but wouldn't beat her ass. So she always took blame for it. Would never get spanking. She'd just say, Wanda, don't you do that, baby. But the lady would get drunk, and Grandpa would come in, and she'd be laying down on the floor. And one time she passed out in front of the heater. And then Grandpa came in, and she told Grandpa that we pushed her down. And Grandpa said, Lita Mae, don't lie on my grandbabies. I sat and watched you pass out because you were drinking hard liquor. And so, she said that bitch got in trouble for that because she shouldn't have been saying shit like that. But another time, we wanted to stay outside and she didn't want to because her booze was in the house. And then, so me and James came up with the plan to, oops, we locked the door and now we can't get in. And she told our grandmother that it was Teresa done it because Teresa was the only name she could remember. But anyway, I'm going to use, oh shit, guys. I used the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. This is growing on me. I really like this. When I first used this, I didn't like it, and come to find out, it was the primer that did it. And I haven't been wearing primer because, you know, at this point, I'm always in the house, so why would I need some primer? You know, but today I'm going out, but I still didn't use primer, but I don't care. If they don't like the way I look, turn the other fucking way. Okay? But anyway, she tried to say Teresa did it because she could only remember Teresa's name. But, our granddad used to take us to the city dump, which was down the street from us. And, which we thought that was fantastic because we would always find new toys in there. All kinds of cool stuff, you know. Brand new toys. And then we get to have toys. You know, brand new toys. That was our thing. And that was awesome. And we found a car one day. And we went there without our granddad, which we shouldn't have done. But we found a car down there. And we were looking in the car, and it was just a dump car, and that was all it was. But we was having a blast. We loved the dump. I mean, we absolutely loved the dump. And I remember one time our granddad would go get the stale donuts and start to grill before we go to school. He would do this almost every day. He'd go get stale donuts and cook them on the grill, y'all. Oh my God, that was the best donut you ever tasted in your life. But our granddad was a one-of-a-kind. I remember we were missing our mom really bad and we were all crying. And he hated to see his grandbabies cry. And he kept trying to tell my dad he needed to take us home. So one day, my granddad called my mother to come and get us. But before he did that, we were all crying because we wanted to go to our mom, you know. And my granddad shaved his eyebrows off and his hair to make us laugh. It worked. But that's what kind of my person my granddad was. He was awesome. My granddad was awesome. And yeah, he was just awesome. Y'all, the colors in here are so gorgeous. Look at that. Look at what I've done. I think I need to put some more green on though. Yeah, the shimmer green. Look how pigmented that is. And usually a shimmer does not come off like that. Wow, yeah, that's it. It usually, you know, it just usually doesn't come off like that. It usually comes off on your finger really good, but not your brush. Oh, that's so pretty! But anyway, my grandpa shaved off his eyebrows and his hair, and my granddad had a lot of hair, just to make us laugh because he loved his grandbabies. And he just did things like that. Built us a wagon so we could be in I want to make this a little brighter around my eyes so we could be in now I can't think of what it was, in the, damn it, in the carnival like circus deal, you know, parade. In the parade. So he built us a wagon so we could be in the parade. We were in the parade. We were actually in the news too, so that was pretty cool. Little McCoy kids. You see, McCoy kids are the, how do they say it? McCoy kids out on the range or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't regret any part of my life. Sometimes I can't remember. I don't really remember the bad things that happened. And my psychiatrist said that's the way of me hiding it. And she did help me to kind of understand and what am I trying to say? To come to terms with what was going on with me, and then that it was okay because, you know, that couldn't happen again because I'm older. But it was hard to figure out how to deal with that situation. But I did, and I overcame it, and my little baby Kelly, because she was just a little bitty baby. I mean, I think she was about 1 when it started, or less than 1 when it started. But she overcame it. She's doing. I didn't get me a highlighter. Y'all know me and my highlighters. Damn it! I have to have me some highlight. But anyway. Where the hell's my bronzer? Damn, y'all, I didn't bring out nothing, did I? Shame on y'all. But my granddad is a fabulous, fabulous man. Well, he was. This is, I got this from Five Below or TJ Maxx. It's just called BC. That's it. So let's see what this looks like. I don't know if this is, I think it is a bronzer though. So let's see how, it's very light bronzer. That's okay. Oh, it's got a shine to it, y'all. Look at that. Damn. Wow, I like that. But, yeah, my dad was, our granddaddy was a wonderful man. I mean, a wonderful man. He was awesome. My grandmother was a sorry bitch. Y'all, we thought this was normal. Do not come at me and say anything cruel to me about this, because we did not know better. We had no idea that was not normal. So don't come at me, because if you do, I'm just going to block you. Okay? My grandmother was a really big woman, you know. And she'd make us get up on the bed and scratch her ass with a brush. Y'all, we thought that was normal until we moved in with our mom again, and, you know, and talk about our grandmother. And we thought that was normal. But it wasn't normal. At all. But anyway, I'll tell you one time about, my grandmother had a little chihuahua. Her name was Penny. And Penny loved her 5 children. We were Penny's. Penny was tiny. And we also had this kitty cat. And Penny thought we were her kids. That's the way she reacted to us. What is that? But that's the way she reacted it to us, like we were her children. And we had a cat, and the cat kept stealing the baby chicks from the next door farm and then bringing them over there, because Grandpa always kept our chickens in a big pen, and it was about 1 mile long for the chickens, so the cat couldn't get in there. But the cat would get spanked for stealing that chicken. And this was on April Fool's Day. And Grandpa or Granny would spank the cat for killing the chickens, or stealing the neighbor's chickens and killing them and eating them. And so one day, my grandma, she brought home some chicken, and we was eating it, you know. And the cat said, "What the fuck? Y'all can eat chicken, but I can't? Hell no." And she went fucking berserk and tried to punish us. And she was attacking all of us, attacking my grandma, attacking the Chihuahua, and the Chihuahua was riding that cat's back and had her mouth around that cat's neck, because that cat was hurting her children, us. And it was tearing us up, y'all. I mean, tearing us up. And so my grandma called the police and told them that we were being attacked by a cat, and they didn't believe my grandma that we were being attacked by a fucking cat, and so they thought it was a joke. And my grandmother's, "No, you need to get here now. We're locked in a damn hot ass car with my grandbabies, all 5 of my grandbabies." So they came, and that cat, y'all, was hissing all over the front windshield, trying to get in and trying to swat at us and all kinds of shit. That fucking cat was spanking our ass for eating chicken. Anyway, they finally come, and that cat's purring all up against them and stuff, and then they called an ambulance, had to call an ambulance, because we were all so torn up by a fucking cat that we had to go get rabies shots until they caught the cat. And you know how they do rabies shot, or check for rabies in an animal, which I'm not going to say it because, yeah, anyway, needless to say, after that we were terrified of cats. But I had me a cat when I was in my 30s. Oh my God, I loved him so much. He was something else. And then I had one when I think I was 42. And my sister brought him to me at my apartment, because I couldn't leave my apartment or the bed, because I had just had surgery on my knee. And yeah. So I couldn't really walk. They didn't want me to walk. But I did anyway. Yeah, I did anyway, but I'm using the, oh damn y'all, I get into my stories and just fucking forget. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I'm not going to pronounce it. But this is the one blush that I use, and y'all know I always use 2 blushes, because I just like blush, and I just like makeup. That's like I use on my eyes, all that shit. And then this is the lighter color one I put on top. Yeah. But we all had to go get rabies shots until they caught the cat and did their thing to our key cat. But anyway, years later, I got another one, and I called him Andy. I loved Andy so much, but he was a male cat and got into fights with every fucking cat there was. And one day it was cold outside, and I opened the door, called him, "Get your butt in here, Andy." Well, he never came. And then I found him out in the backyard up against the fence, frozen, but he was still alive. And I rushed him to the vet, and they said he's too torn up, something got a hold of him. And that just devastated me. Oh my God, y'all, that devastated me. And then when I had the surgery, and I lived in my apartment before Wanda got, sick and stuff, she came over to take care of me, because she knew I couldn't. She went up there with me to get the surgery and stayed with me. And then she said on the way back, I made her stop at Church's Chicken to get a box of chicken. And she said, "Kelly, we don't eat that much chicken." And I told her, "Shut the fuck up. We're going to eat us some chicken." But I guess I got like 25 pieces of chicken. And then she just said, "Okay, we'll eat this for a couple of days." And then she said, I got home and ordered pizza. I said, "Wanda, why you let me do that shit?" And she said, "Kelly, you know you." But during that time, she brought me a kitten. And I named it Lola. I love my kitty. Oh my God, I love my kitty. And I named her Lola. And come to find out, when Lola grew up, Lola was not a girl. It was a boy. I didn't give a shit. I still called him Lola. But I love Lola, and Lola, I was teaching him to talk. And Wanda would trip out, because not long after that is when her electricity got shut off. And I said, "No, we ain't doing this." So that's when we got a house. But so I brought my Lola with me. He was something else. And I was teaching him to talk. And if he wanted to come in the bathroom, he said, have to say, "Mom, let me in. Mom, let me in." Or Mama, let me in. So he would say it. And wanted to come in one day, and she goes, "Hey girl, who the fuck is in here?" I said, what do you mean? She goes, who's in the bathroom with you? And I said, me and Lola. She said, bullshit. Someone's in there. I said, Wanda, open the door and come in. And she opened the door and came in. She said, Kelly, I swear to God. I said, you did. You heard someone talking. And she said, who was? I said, it was Lola. She didn't believe me until the next morning when I got up. She ran out there real quick so she could see Lola. And he said, Mama, let me in. And Wanda tripped the fuck out, y'all. She called my mother and said, Mama, Kelly done taught this fucking cat how to say, Mama, let me in. Y'all, this is that new stuff that I got with my eye palettes. It's lip liner, stay in. And I can't read the rest. It's tattoo lipstick, but we'll see how it looks. Because that's pretty damn dark. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love it. Shit, yeah. But, you can see my fever blister is getting better and better. But he was huge, y'all. I mean, he was huge. Beautiful. He was a yellow cat, not orange. He was yellow. And his hair was extremely long. And he was smart. He would catch birds in midair. And then get on top of the house and meow until I told him to let it go, because I didn't want him to kill the bird. Let the bird go. And he let the bird go. But every day when I get off work, I come home, and I swear to God, he knew the sound of my Jeep. And I would get to a block away from the house, and there would be Lola waiting on the corner like a hooker for Mama to come. So I open the door, and he'd get in and ride with me. And then one time, Wanda tripped out on this too, because he liked to ride in the car. He loved to ride in the car. That's just what he was, you know. So I let the open door, and he got in. And I said, you want to go with Mama? And, wow, wow, Mama, let me in. I said, okay, come on. And he'd get on the dash and ride. And Wanda would trip the hell out. And I'd say, you want it, like I would go to the store, get some beer or something. And I'd say, you want to go in with Mama? And he'd climb up on my neck and wrap around like fur around my neck. He was so fucking cute. I just loved him. But he was something else. But he got to go live on a farm out in the country where there were other cats and lots of animals and other animals. So he, you know, he got to do that. I wanted him to do that. I didn't, because we lived in the city. You know what I mean? But I missed him, and it was okay to miss him, but yeah, he was my baby. Let me do some of this spray stuff. First, we're going to do this moisturizer. Y'all, I didn't show you. It's MAC. This is MAC. I love this mascara. Look what it does to my eyelashes. I don't need fake eyelashes on with this stuff. Oh my God. And I am going to use my daily facial spray. I'm almost out of it. But I gotta go get my honey bunny's birthday present, so I'm just gonna probably get me some more. But then I'm gonna use this Miss Factor X professional makeup spray, and it's a long-lasting one. Just shake that shit up. Y'all, does it look like my lips are purple and I don't have any oxygen going through my body? Anyway, yeah, my kitty was my kitty. He was my thing. And then when I was really, this is how I got Momo. When I was really down and depressed, really bad, my honey bunny said, "Hey, let's go look at dogs." And I said, "I don't want to." So he convinced me, "Oh, well, let's look online at dogs." And I saw Mona. I saw my Mona Lisa. Her name was Mona, and they called her Mona because she moaned all the time and cried all the time up there because everybody was afraid of her, and she would attack the shit out of them. But anyway, I saw her and I said, "Oh my God, that's it. That's the one I want." And we went down there and they said she was unadoptable. I said, "No, she's adoptable because that's the one I want." And they said, "Well, what made you pick her?" And I said, "Because her eyes tell me something. And my nose is cold, but her eyes tell me something, and she's the one." And they said, "Well, she's unadoptable. She's not adoptable." And I said, "Yes, every animal's adoptable, and she's the one I want." What's she gonna do? Live the rest of her life in a small ass cage? Because this was a place where they didn't believe in killing them. If they had to, they would just stay there, you know, live their lives out in a small kennel cage. And I said no. So they, I said, "That's the one I want." So Honey Bunny said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yes, that is the one I want." So I told him, "Get her, take him to her to the room where I was sitting, and then y'all need to leave." So they let, and they had her muzzled and everything because I guess she was pretty fucking mean. But she came in there and I was sitting down and I said, "Just let her go," and let her come in, and you could tell she was terrified of people. I mean, terrified. And she came in and kind of looked, and I said, "It's okay. If you don't want to come over here, it's fine with me. I'll just talk to you, okay?" And then they opened the door to check on us, and Mona came running and got under my chair in between my legs and started growling at them. And I said, "We're not done here. Shut the door and leave us alone. I'll call y'all when I'm done." And then so she was between my legs, and I was talking to her, and I said, "Can I take that muzzle off of you? You don't look like you need that." So she let me take it off of her, and then she started licking my leg. And then they came in again, and then she got up and put her paws on top of my knees. So I said, "You want me to pick you up?" So I picked her up. And when I picked her up, that was all it took. She laid her head on my chest right here, and she like sighed. And they said they hadn't seen nothing like that. It was freaking them out. And what the hell did I do? And I said, I just talked to her and told her that if she wanted to come home with me, I would make sure she was always fed, that she was always loved, and I would buy her snacks and toys. And then when I picked her up, I held her like that for about 4 hours. When we did the adoption, when we drove home, and then when we got home, I sat on the couch and beside Honey Bunny, and we talked about, just things and get her to, didn't know us and stuff. And that was Momo's story. Ruru's story was my Honey Bunny wanted a dog all of his own too, So I looked up on there, and then I saw Ruru, and then I said, well, what about him? And Honey Bunny said, "Ooh, yeah, he's a Cairn Terrier." And his name was Mike Ike. They named him Mike Ike after some cartoon, the one-eyed cartoon or something. I don't know. I never heard of it. But so we went there, and they said he wasn't ready yet. And then they explained to me he was in surgery because his previous owners, he got scratched him in the eye, and they never took him to the vet. And then so they had to check out his eye. He was completely blind in his eye, and it's bigger, but it doesn't cause him any pain or anything like that. So he came out, and Honey Bunny said, I want to take him home now. And they said, well, we got to make sure that he's okay after surgery and all that stuff and wakes up. And then they brought him in the room for Honey Bunny, and then Honey Bunny got on the floor, and Ruru was laying on this dog bed and had a bunch of balls around him. So I said, Honey Bunny, go on over there. So my Honey Bunny went over there real slow and sat beside him and took one of the balls and threw it. And then Rue proceeded to pick up that ball and bring it back. So Honey Bunny kept doing that, and he said, I want this dog. So I told him, okay, he seems to be fine with looking at looking at him. And his story was, he was a puppy when his owners adopted him, and they were a young couple. And they would fight and say, we're getting a divorce, and they would bring poor little Ruru back and just leave him there. And then the last time was when he got his eye scratched by their cat. And the cat, they didn't bring him in and get him checked or anything like that, but that's when they checked Ruru's eye, and it was fine and stuff. But that was the last time they brought him, was the third time they brought him up there. And then when we went and got him, I said I wanted to know his story. Is anybody, come to get him and stuff? And they said there was one gentleman thought he was going to get his wife a little doggy, so she could have someone to love and take care of. Well, he got him home, and the woman said, that is the ugliest fucking dog I've ever seen. Take it back. So they took Ruru back, and that's when we got a hold of him, and we've had him now for 7.5 years. Our babies. And Ruru plays ball, squee. Mona calls it I call it a squee with Mona, because they're little balls that have little faces on the front of them. You squeeze them and they squash and squeak and shit. And that is Ruru's and Mona's obsession. Besides the honey peanut butter snacks with chicken wrapped around them, that's Mona's obsession. But I always make sure I have those, because I promised them. And so, yeah. That is Momo and Ruru's story. So, if you guys have any stories like that, you can share them with me. It'd be fine with me. I would love to hear your stories about that. And we only use this makeup with my colorful self. Let's look real close. Y'all see the color. And look at that mascara. Isn't that awesome? I love this mascara. I want more, but anyway. We only use makeup to enhance our beauty. We are beautiful. All women are beautiful. It doesn't matter the color, your skin, none of that. We are all beautiful women, and we deserve to be heard as beautiful women. And no one should put you down for the beauty of you. No one should do that. Just ignore them, okay? Because they're full of shit. Get away from them. Let me know if anyone did tell someone that they're beautiful. I did. I do it all the time, though. Because we are beautiful. And a woman deserves to hear that she is beautiful. Even if it's from another woman. It still makes your self-esteem go poof. And you feel good about who you are. So, just do that. It will make you feel good and them feel good. And depression is a real thing, guys. If you feel depressed in any way, shape, or form, tell somebody. It would be most important if you told your doctor. Your doctor could send you to someone, because nowadays you do need a referral to talk to a professional. I mean, come on. Which is crazy to me. But it's real. Depression is real, and depression does hurt. Not only does it hurt the person that is depressed, but it hurts the people around them, because they don't know how to help. Okay? So don't go down that road. And if you're being abused by somebody, you need to get as far away from there as you can, okay? Because they're taking the true you. They have taken the true you. You need to find that true you again, okay? You need to. Don't let them do that to you any longer, okay? Get help. Don't be ashamed to get help. Everybody needs help in some way, shape, or form, okay? That's just the way life goes. And life, I mean, if a child, if something happened to a child and you see it, don't you want to help that child? You know, don't you want to help that child to not be bullied, to talk about why they feel the way they do? Well, it's the same way with an adult. It's the same way, man or woman. If you're somebody that is depressed and is in trouble, tell somebody and get some help, okay? I love you guys. Please, please, like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. Cheryl, you are awesome. Girl is awesome. Cheryl is awesome. Cheryl is awesome. Yeah, she's also beautiful. Okay, guys, I'm going to say bye for now. I love you, ladies. Bye-bye.